What's going on, guys? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk. Let's talk about Prime. Deion Sanders, hot in the news, took the job at Colorado, left Jackson State. A lot of people unhappy. A lot of comments directed towards Prime, regardless of what he did, what he brought to the program. Everybody's just mad that he left. Now, let me preface this before I get too deep that I did not go to a HBCU. I went to Eastern Kentucky, not Kentucky State. But it seems like when you're in a situation like that, the one thing that's a constant is the business should be right. And the key word in that statement is the business should be right. Now, people are going to have opinions on whether or not he should have left, how he did it, what he said, and all of that kind of stuff. And you know what? Everybody's welcome to their opinion. Everybody's not going to like it. Everybody didn't like it when he got hired. Everybody didn't like the way he coached, but he did what he did. He was successful at it. And he took Jackson State in a short 3 years to a stature it had never been to before. You knew people that follow HBCU sports, and I guess to a certain degree, many people that follow sports in general, because we got a lot of brothers in the NFL that come from HBCUs. A lot of them. Shannon Sharp, Jerry Rice, of course, the great Walter Payton, and on and on. So even in today's games, you got a lot of good athletes that come from HBCU. But it always seems like they are not on the forefront. Everybody knows Eddie Robinson. Everybody knows Grambling because Eddie Robinson is a legend. But it took him a long time to build that legacy. Now his son is there, Eddie Robinson Jr. No, his son is at Alabama State, I believe. But if you remember, Eddie Robinson Jr. was the one that got into it with Deion after the game and all of that kind of stuff. And it just caused a lot of unnecessary whatever between them. Regardless of if he was right or wrong, the optics of it just made it look like Eddie Robinson Jr. had sour grapes because Jackson State whooped up on him. I don't think anything came from that. The whole he's not SWAC and all of that kind of stuff. Man, when it comes to stuff like that, you are where you are. You are where you are. You do what you do where you are at any given time. For what team you play for, the team that you're coaching. It is not unusual for a coach to have success and very quickly get snatched up to a bigger college, a better offer, things of that nature. That's what Prime did. You're not even going to look at the money aspect of it because it's no contest. Having said all of that, you go back and look at some of the comments he made when he first got hired. I believe it was an interview he did on 60 Minutes where he said if he got some offers from other teams, he would definitely entertain those offers. And when you go from, what was it? I thought it was 300,000. Somebody said it was 500,000 to 5 million. Come on. People get mad, but at the end of the day, if you was faced with that offer, most people would do the same thing. And don't give me that stuff about he's already well off. And listen, he played a long time ago. He's living off of television money from commentating and stuff like that. Not to mention the tax bracket he's in. Don't think that, and also you got to remember, the money that he made when he played is nowhere near what it is right now. It's a different environment right now. He wasn't getting no $300 million deal like Tom Brady to be a broadcaster. He wasn't getting that. And again, he was a broadcasting, 5-10 years ago? The business of it, it makes sense. I'm not mad that he went. I'm glad to see what he did at Jackson State. Now the pressure is on whoever comes next. Nobody's going to be another Deion. Nobody. But somebody can come in and be as good a coach as Deion was. There's another coach somewhere that can come in and take Jackson State to 12-0 and recruit and do all the things that he did. You're never going to find another Deion, period. He's one of a kind. But you can definitely come in there and coach them kids up and have them winning again. I was hoping he would stay around at least for 4 years to see Shador graduate and go to the league. Or at least long enough to where Jackson State can play one of the big schools and hang with them or beat them. That's what I was really saying, that, you getting the athletes in now, you even in the playing field with the NILs and the transfer portals and all of that kind of stuff, and you bringing in top athletes to this HBCU, let's see if you can compete with the big boys. That would have been the key. That's what I wanted to see. But he got a better offer. I'm up here in the Philadelphia area, very similar to what happened with Matt Rule. Matt Rule had Temple at a place Most people around here had never seen Temple be that good. And then when you're that good, people are going to notice. And then he bounced to Baylor. Temple couldn't do what Baylor's doing as far as the opportunities and the monies and stuff like that. The situation is just better there. So if you want to grow, you got to go. And that's what Prime did. Now, the other part of that, now you're hearing all these stories coming out about what the president of Jackson State was or wasn't doing, and the tickets that were sold or not sold, all of that kind of stuff. That stuff may or may not be true. But the one thing I will give Deion credit for, he's been the same from the beginning. He's been loud, boisterous, and he'll tell you what he thinks. He's been like that from the beginning. He said he would entertain other offers from the beginning. So it seems like some people had unrealistic expectations from him. But in spite of all of that, in spite of the money issues, and see what people are saying now and seeing all the news that's coming out, some of it looks a little shady. And if, comma, it is true, then I understand why he left. If they withheld money from him, if they miscounted the ticket sales because the ticket sales were part of his contract, stuff that was written in his contract, if they were shady, I understand why he left. On top of the stuff when they stole the stuff out of the locker room, they broke into his kid's car, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes that probably he just haven't said. And it's interesting that everybody's putting all of this information out. Allegedly, I haven't heard anything from Jackson State as far as an official statement or release or something like that. Jackson State appreciates Coach Prime, but this didn't happen. That's did. You know how they do that corporate speak. I could be wrong. I'll look again, but I have not seen it. So at the end of the day, he did what he did at Jackson State. I wish he would have stayed a little bit longer, but I understand. If you've ever been in a situation where you're doing something for somebody and everybody want to treat you like a hookup, the paying for the locker room, the mowing the grass, doing new tennis courts, paying for meals, all of that stuff, all of the relationships that he brokered, the stuff that he did that came out of his own pocket. So you can only go so far. People can only take your kindness as a weakness for so long, especially with somebody like Deion. And everybody's getting all upset and feeling some kind of way because of the way he was when he came in. We're going to do this, and it's about the kids and all of that kind of stuff. And for the most part, it was. But when it came down to business, the business wasn't right. So he had to move on. I read that Jackson State made a last-ditch offer, like raising his salary to $1 million a year. But the provision was he would have had to pay his own staff. Nobody does that. So now, again, you trying to get somebody a hookup. Oh, we're going to pay you this much, but you got to pay everybody on your staff. That's not the way it works. Then if that's what you got to do, you ain't giving them $1 million. So I'm sure there'll be more information that comes out. And Deion's going to either look good or not. But he's got it in his mind what he wants to do, and he's doing it. He brought his son over there. I heard the speech he said to the Colorado team. That was a little cringeworthy, but at least he kept it real. He's been like that from day one. He goes to Colorado. He tells the kids, if you don't like it here, you can transfer because I'm bringing my own luggage. And then he introduces his son Shador as the quarterback. What happened to the other quarterback that was working out and put in his time and took his lumps to get the opportunity? What happens to him? That's the way it goes now. That's the bad part of the NILs and the transfer portal and stuff like that. You can put in the work and do everything the right way, and it's still not going to work out for you. Winning is loyal to no one. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes on. It'll be very interesting, and I will keep watching to see what happens with Jackson State. Because I want to see what's going to happen next year. Who's going to come in, because they got some mighty big shoes to fill. Now, they might not be able to do it with the optics and the, cachet that Primetime has. But the minute somebody comes into that program and starts winning again, they'll get the respect they deserve. I wish him the best at Colorado. I think he's going to do well there. He can't do any worse. They were 1-11, so the only way to go is up. And I'm wishing the best for Jackson State, and I will still keep paying attention.